Good morning, folks. Highly unplanned improv video. I just told Ted I'm on a long drive to Kings Mountain, North Carolina. I watched Pulling John and got to hair up my butt to do something. So he was up awake, willing to hop on. Good morning, Ted. Jim
Good morning,
Onicki. What
bud.
is up? The unapologetic patriot himself. What's going on, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Doing good, man. I'm glad you was able to hop on and have some fun with us this morning. Um, First, because we're going to talk, we're really hyping up the Fall Brawl event that you and I are both in.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to it. Before we get started, now, I just want to tell me, because I'm very envious of you. And I told you as soon as you got there, while you were there, and when you got back, how jealous of you I was. And tell me about your East versus West trip down to Orlando, brother.
Man, it was incredible. It, it felt like it felt, I don't do fanboy stuff, right? You know what I mean? Like I don't do that type of shit. I've never been to a pro event of any type in my life. I've never been to a concert. I've never been to anything like that, right? So for me, just to give you a background, like legitimately, I was at a professional baseball game once in 1988. Okay, and I was at a professional bowling match like once in 1989. That was it. That's my,
Wow.
you know,
Really?
yeah, yeah. So
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
yeah. So I've never been to, like I said, a concert or anything like that. So for me, this was like, a once in a lifetime deal for me. My wife was happy or nice enough to sit there, and once I told her that I'd really like to go because it's going to be historic, she put it all in motion. We saved up, we went because obviously it was not cheap. We went and we did the whole thing. We weren't going to just go and just go. So we
Yeah.
did the whole VIP thing and all of that, and it was unbelievable, man. Like I drove up to the hotel, and I'm not going to mention their names just because I don't want to fucking get them in trouble. But there was two pullers, one from this country, one from another country, smoking weed right in front of the hotel. and then we walk into the hotel and there's Neil Pickup in the lobby talking to his guys, and I'm just like, holy shit. And this is within the first 5 minutes of me being there.
Yeah.
And then from there on, I mean, I rode the elevator with Michael Todd and Mrs. Todd, and I rode the elevator with Evgeny Prudnik, and I met the entire Larrett family. Jody and Habry and Auden. Auden is cool. When we met, I know you're driving, but we met and we did this. You know,
Now, did you know? Was a suggested hotel to stay at? Did you get just lucky? Was it
no, no,
how
no.
that work?
Part of the VIP package was that you actually got a 3 or 2 night stay at that hotel.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
So,
Smart. That's
yeah.
smart. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
so
that.
it was awesome, and I mean, right across the hall from me, it was funny as hell. We're kind of dusting off the road and all of that, and we're in the hotel room, and my wife flushes the toilet, and she's like, "I swear to God, I just heard the toilet sing opera," and I was like, "No, sweetie, I think we're really close to Evgeny Prudnik," and she's like, "Huh?" I open up the door, and we're right across the hall from his room, and he's singing opera in his room. Yeah, it
Wow.
was it was incredible, man. It was
Surreal as
absolutely.
hell. That had to be so surreal. And like, it really shocks me, not that you have been to a whole lot of concerts and stuff, but you're such a fan of the sport of arm wrestling. I don't say fan in the sense of like fanboy, but fan is in like you stay in the loop, involved,
Yeah.
support, talk it, you know it. You know what I mean? It's not just
Yep. Yep.
a flash in the pan for you. So I'm really surprised this was like the first major event you'd been to, really.
Yeah, yeah, it's the first major event I've ever been to. I've always wanted to go to like Winter Blast and stuff like that, and I do want to make some VALs because obviously they're making some real big waves. But I mean, as far as like real big event, like I would say the real big events would be Knuckles Up, Winter
Yeah.
Blast,
Oh, yeah. Agreed.
a really big PAL event or something like that. I've never been to any of them, so yeah, I do want to, but I've never been there yet.
Yeah.
So
Well,
um,
that's awesome. I saw you were caught on camera in the crowd, and what's also awesome is you got to see guys that you know and from my neck of the woods that were actually pulling in the event too. So
yeah,
it
yeah,
seems you brought kind of having close to home there with you too. It's pretty cool.
yeah.
That's what I thought was real cool about it.
It was really cool, like for the VIP breakfast or dinner. I'm sorry. Like I wasn't gonna say like I was one of those fans that yes, I'm a fan, and I'm gonna obviously ask you for an autograph and all that, but I'm not gonna bother you while you're eating or
Yeah.
kind of impose the fact that oh, I'm a VIP, so therefore I've got to be around you every 10 seconds. There were people like that, and I really felt bad for the athletes because of that. but it comes with, it's part and parcel with the whole thing. But what I did is it was great because I sat down at a table with obviously my wife, with Dunwoody, with Ryan Bellinger, with Adam Rosinski, and we all had a nice conversation because we all knew each other. So
Yeah.
it was good to just sit down and have a nice conversation and talk to the guys that I did know, and one of them was on the stage too. You know what I mean? So
All class acts you just named off
yeah,
too. I think a lot of all of them. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, that is awesome. I could have been happier for you. I joke and say I was jealous of you, but I was truly happy for you when you said your wife had surprised you with it. And then seeing, I was like, man, I'm jealous, but not like in the envious jealous type. Like, man, I mean, that's
Yeah.
such a good idea. How did I not think of jumping on that?
Yeah, I sat there. All I did was mention it to her. I said, "Honey, this is going to be a once in a lifetime thing. It's the first time it's come to the United States. I want to do it." And I kind of said it like that and just left it alone. And I didn't expect her to do it. I really
Yeah.
didn't. I just was like, I just want to do it. And like I think it was like a month later, I see her getting all frantic behind the keyboard. And yeah, no shit, she sat there and she was talking to Engen. She was the first one in the VIP chat besides Engen and oh my god, I can't believe I forgot her damn name. But the one who basically put on the entire show because Engen wasn't able to make it. Anna. So yeah, so she was in the chat with Anna and Engen, and she was the first VIP in the chat.
I think that if I read it right, I guess Adam Warzone, he had a whole lot to do with it too, right? As far as help putting it on and hosting.
I'm not sure. To be honest with you, I'm not sure. I know Chance Shaw did.
Yeah, Chance, and I think
yeah.
I read Adam had a heavy hand with him and Chance making it happen in the States because Engen couldn't
well, Adam, he wasn't going to tell me. So, you know what I mean? Like, he's not going to brag about it. So I didn't know. If that was the case, that's even better. But I mean, I didn't know.
Well, good. That's awesome, man. I really am happy for you. I know you can keep going on talking about it on and on. There's going to be something new every time. I haven't heard you tell the same thing twice yet. So
yeah, it was amazing. But, it was amazing.
The fall brawl. So you got two really, what I think are really big matches. One of them, I admire you for giving my teammate John the opportunity to pull you left-handed. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this will be his first go at a pro super match.
Yeah.
I think it's a very tall order he bit off, but I told him, I said, go right. You will learn. You've got nothing to lose. Win or lose, you're a winner in this match. He's going to win.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not sleeping on him. I did feel him because when I was at Redmond's, he wanted to pull me, and I think that was what made his decision of whether or not he wanted to do it or not. What's up, Lucky? And it was an after pull. I was already, adrenaline, blah, 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 whatever. But I mean, I felt him. He was very strong in the straps. He had good angles. So I was, he challenged me. I said, yeah, I mean, of course. I'm not going to take him lightly. Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, I appreciate that. But I mean, I'm not going to sit there and hide behind my rank. I'm just not going to do that.
He's a phenomenal left-hand puller. He's good right. He's solid right. Don't get me wrong. But I've told him since day one, it's just night and day difference how more controlled and unit and one unit he is with that left. It's just pretty. Yeah. It's pretty arm wrestling when he's on his left.
It's also night and day difference between him out of the strap and in the strap, just from what I felt. Like completely night and day. Out of the strap, I handled him quite easily, and that's not talking shit. It was just I was handling him quite easily. In the strap, I actually had to like dig a little bit and find an angle, and I was like, man, I can't believe this guy's strength, because I grow in the straps, but he really grew in the straps, and I was like, that was pretty impressive.
And John is strong just by nature and genetics and work life. He's never spent much time in the gym. We would actually graduate high school together. He and I did. And I can't recall him ever really lifting any weights. He still doesn't. He's just he has a manual job, and it keeps him fit.
That's what gave me my hand and wrist, brother. Third generation mechanic.
Yeah. And then your other match is another good one. I think it's one of those I think has potential to be a match of the day. It's with Bryce Meadows out of West Virginia, number 220 out of West Virginia.
He's gonna lay me down like I'm a sweet little baby.
That's what he says, right?
Yeah, that's what he says.
I like, Bryce is a good kid. He does a lot for the, show. And man, the boy's active and is coming as definitely a rising star. Win or lose in this match, I think he's 21, Just turned
Yeah,
21, I
yeah. I
think.
mean, look, no matter what, and I mean, I make no bones about this. Look, no bullshit, all bullshit aside, no matter what, there's going to come a day where I won't be able to touch him. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
that
no
boy's
matter what.
future's bright.
And I mean, that's the God's honest truth. And if any of the old timers think that that's not the truth, then you just haven't been around these young bucks enough.
Yeah,
Um, I always say with my teammates, Levi Rakowski is a perfect example, right? So when he first came into the sport, nobody wanted to get into a hook with the kid unless you actually knew how to pull in a hook. And I'm not one of those guys that likes to pull in a hook.
yeah,
So, I stayed out of his power. I went around his power, and I used to be able to toy with his hand and wrist like it was nothing, like piece of glass, right? Now, fast forward just a year and a half later, and he can hold a cup of 176 pounds, and his wrist feels like it's a piece of iron.
and the
So
thing
it's
is,
like,
he's losing that baby fat. And he's turning solid now. You know
oh
what I mean?
God, bro,
Boy is
he's
solid.
insane. Yeah. He's insane. I mean, he's going to worlds for God's sake. The guy's good. You know what I mean? And I mean, he's still got a lot to learn as far as movement on the table. And I think that's where I really benefit him a lot is the movement. But as far as like raw power, he's got it. He's got it.
Yeah, you talk about those real youngsters, and which Bryce is only 21, but Levi, David Terrell, Levi
Yep.
Anderson. I mean, Landon Anderson. These
Yep.
guys are just they're the future of the sport. And I'm gonna put Bryce. Bryce is about 5 minutes older than him. You got those youngsters. You felt Logan Buckaloo, another youngster who's got got a ton of potential to be really special.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to face him again. I mean, and that's fine. I'm good with that. And not taking anything away from him. I had a bad day that day, and that's fine. You know what I mean? That's fine. It happens. It's not taking anything away from him. He was the better man that day, and that's all that matters. But what I don't understand is the arm wrestling math. I never have. I've never understood that. Just because you felt something one day, all of a sudden you think you know somebody, or just because, like, okay, perfect example. And it's not like this. Bryce never really bothers me with his trash talk. It's kind of just funny to me because I've lived literally 2.5 times longer on this planet than he has. So it's like, if you really think you're going to get into my head, you got a long way to go. But like yesterday, he pulls with 2 guys that I've never even met before, right? And he's like, and I found out today that TJ is going to have a long day. And I'm like, how? How does that math? Like, none of them met me. They don't know me. Like, what metric were you going off of? Just that your right felt good? Congratulations.
He was pulling with Andrew. I felt some of them boys up there at Virginia Kids. I felt them, but nothing similar, not like for like, and you've never held none of their hands either. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
Yeah, I don't know how that maths.
Me and Bryce had a improv practice match one time at Jonathan Hauser's, and I was still in my Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and he felt great, but it's like I came at like 60%, 70%, not even planning for a match, And when you plan for it, I've heard you talk about it too. You like to get your mind right, like I do. You get to the venue the night before, weigh in, car back up, and feel good. You and I are very similar in that sense, where we don't just show up and pull a match. It's but it's not what I want to do if I've got time to plan it.
I was going to say it's unfortunate because for the fall brawl, I will be just showing up and pulling the match. Obviously, you can't get there the night before. I will be weighing in the night before for my match with John. But and I will be carving up and going through my refeed and all of that. But I mean, when I show up, Saturday, it's going to be just showing up. But yeah, look, I've got a plan for Bryce. Obviously, I'd be stupid if I didn't. Again, no bullshit or all bullshit aside, I am not taking him lightly, nor am I thinking, or obviously I'm not taking him lightly. But nor do I think that I have zero chance. I definitely have a chance. I definitely have a lane. I've been practicing with people that not that know him or anything, but that pull similar to him. And, I would say are probably on par or close to his strength. Obviously you never know what you're in for with the exact person if you've never pulled them before, but you can at least try to mimic it. And I think that's my style of training. Like if I'm going up against somebody, that was kind of what was so hard about Logan is that I went through 7 different opponents, you know what I mean? Or 6 different opponents for that match. So I was training for one, then I was training for another, then I was training for another. Now, granted, I'm always going to try to make myself as strong as I possibly can be and as technically proficient as I possibly can be. But when I train, that's why I love super matches so much. It's kind of like fighting. When I'm training, I'm training for you. I'm
Yeah,
training for a fight with you.
you're putting a
So
game plan. You can't put a game plan for a tournament. That's why I love super
yeah.
matches.
Yeah. So that's, that's what I'm doing, right? I'm trying to mimic as much as I possibly can of what I've seen of him, in my training. So therefore I'm as prepared as I possibly can be. Now, if he throws something completely different at me, then great. Congratulations. I'll have to rely on my other training, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
that I've done. But as far as what I've seen from him and basically where I see his strengths are, yes, I'm training specifically for those and to counter those. So yeah.
Well, you're very intelligent on the table. I've always said that. You're one of those I can see you thinking when I've watched you on video. You and I haven't had a whole lot of experience pulling one another. But I can, when I watch you on camera, I'm like, he's a thinker. You got certain guys like that. Nick Johnson's a thinker.
Yes.
You got people like that. Ryan Dunwoody. You watch him think when he's on the table. You can see it happening. And you're one of those as well. So it's going to be a banger to me. He's also got he's got another match that's set up great with Trey Ellington. Both y'all have two very, very tough matches that day. The whole lineup though is insane. It's
a great lineup, and Trey feels like an absolute ton on his left right now.
His left
it's
is
crazy.
His left is crazy nasty, fast. To be his size and that fast is impressive.
Yeah, it's insane. He's really fast, really strong. Just thick. I mean, him and I, when we practiced, we were the same weight, and I was like, "You're twice the size of me."
And he's humble too. He's so humble. You and I we spit off at the lip a little bit just to keep the show going. Trey just shows up and does work.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to ref. I know me and your teammate Nick will be reffing the entire event, more or less.
Yep.
So it's you and John. I'm obviously Nick's the more experienced up ref. I'm gonna let him do the majority of the up ref in that day. But
everybody. I was going to say, everybody thinks I have some sort of advantage when Nick is reffing. That dude knows all of my damn tricks. Yeah, he knows. But I'm saying, he knows all of my damn tricks and doesn't let me get away with shit.
I know exactly where he's coming from. I've had to do it with Willie. I know what his tricks are. I see them, and I don't. If I wasn't reffing, I'd be telling him to do them. You know what I mean? But as the ref, I can't let you get away with it, especially when you're my damn teammate.
Yeah. It's like, it's horrible because I'm like, afterwards I'm like, Nick, for God's sake, man, any other ref would have let me, slide with this, but he's like, hey, it's, I see it, I call it. I'm like, God bless it.
Yeah. Chris Wood, I've seen him do the same thing to his top hands pulling team, his team. Boy, I'm like, damn, Chris is hard on his boys. He's harder on him than anybody else.
It's crazy, man.
But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. I really hope it turns out to be a big. This is Dobie's first event he's hosted, so I really want it to be a big turnout for him down there. Another lover of the sport, man. Gosh, he's Dobie's obsessed as well.
Yeah. Well, he's got a pretty good match that day too.
With my
brother. Yeah,
with
my brother.
Yeah. Your brother. Yeah. Yes, I don't know Chris very well. Just a little bit in the chat. But you spoke highly of him. Dobie spoke highly of him.
Yeah.
And then I saw the video with him and Kurt.
Yeah.
So he looks legit. I know he had I'm not gonna say a small injury, it's a significant injury, but you seem confident he'd be ready for it to be back healthy.
Yeah, I pulled with him this weekend, and he feels as strong as ever. Now he told me, he said, yeah, the tendon is nicked and I can feel it. You know what I mean? In my fingers, I can feel it. But I don't know. I put him in all different types of positions, and he was handling it well, and he was very, very strong and very fast. I mean, look, I honestly don't know who the favorite is. I will tell you this, arm versus arm. I think that Dobie, just because of the experience, is probably better. The trick is to get Chris there, because Chris has a hand like mine, and, obviously we're brothers. He has a hand like mine, and he's learning how to use it well. And to get him into a hook or a press is going to be very, very difficult. So, if you can get him there, kudos to you. If you can't, you're in for a fucking ride.
My fear, and I would tell Dobie this too, is Dobie's such a thinker leading up to the match. I don't think he needs to overthink it. You know what I mean? I'm afraid he's going to psych himself out, because he's practicing so many different lanes right now, and he's getting good at all of them. He needs to figure out what's best for Chris. You know what I mean? And focus on that person. Go down 0-2, then you try something different. If you're down 0-2, you try something different.
Absolutely. But you know what? Let him keep overthinking it. That's all right. Because Chris has got a plan, so
that's good. And Dobie probably does too.
I
It'd be
know.
stupid to speak on it publicly, But
Yeah.
that's like with me and Kurt. I've got a plan. Kurt, I'm looking forward to that match too. I think we're very different, very very different stylistically, so it should be interesting.
And look, I haven't seen any of your stuff lately. I know that you've been a lot healthier lately, and that's awesome. You know what I mean? But I haven't seen like a lot of training videos or pulling or anything. So I really have no idea where you're at. I know that Kurt's made some serious gains over the last couple of months, and as far as lifts. But I mean, we all know that lifts are good. They just don't necessarily. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're fun to show. They're fun to show.
Yeah.
Show your lifts off. They're fun to see.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Lifts are.
Don't get me wrong. They do reflect on the table. I'm not saying they don't, but that's just.
They do, but to what extent? Right. And it's to what extent, right? So like, for instance, if I'm doing the Devin Larratt, pronation lift off the ground, for me, that translates almost directly. But for like somebody like Bryce, that's probably going to be like 10%.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so press. He's primarily a presser into his, that's that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those things where, if you're a hook or a press puller, and that's another thing I want to put out there publicly, since we are doing this live on your YouTube channel, is that, again, all bullshit talking aside, Bryce and I have come to an agreement, and I give him the world of respect for this. Because I told him, I said, look, no offense, I have a rankings match coming up in January. I'm not about to take the chance of blowing my bicep against you where it doesn't mean anything to me as far as rankings. So if you press off the go, I'm just going to lay down. And he said, well, then I just won't press off the go. So that was really respectful. So I appreciate that. I do.
Yeah, that's why you got Delfino in January at y'all's event. So let's plug your event too, Carolina Rollers event. You and Nick and y'all's team's hosting. Let's plug it.
Yeah, we're doing Camel City Classic 3. It's our third annual now. It's incredible that we've been blessed with the same venue and good people and all that. But so basically it's Nick and his wife and me and my wife that put it on, and it's going to be January 11th, 2025. The big thing is this: pre-registration. So if you get out to uapcustoms.com, that's uapcustoms.com, get out there and you can pre-register for the entire event, however many weight classes you want, whatever arm you want, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, you can buy merch out there, but we're not going to plug all of that crap. My wife does the t-shirts, the hoodies, and all of that. You can look at it. If you like it, great. If you don't, hey, that's cool. But as far as the tournament itself goes, you're going to want to pre-register on the website because we're capping it at 100 pullers, not 100 entries, but 100 pullers. So, 100 different pullers. So, because of the fact that the venue size and because of the fact that it ran so smooth last year when we did the exact same thing, that's what we're going to do. So we're not looking to get rich, and we want to make it really, really, really good for the pullers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you've already announced how many matches? Was it 3 or 4?
So there's 3.
I've already announced.
Yeah, there's 3 super matches. I'll give you them in order. So the first one is going to be Jacob Green and Levi Rakowski rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So rematch, and then then the second match is going to be Levi 2 versus Joe McGrath, and that's going to be for number 4 ranking in North Carolina in the I think it's the 85 kilo class. So that's right-handed. These are all right-handed matches. And then the last one is going to be me versus Delfino Islas for the number 3 ranking at the 105 kg right-hand.
Three really big matches. Obviously, I'm close with Jacob Green. And I can't name too many people had as good of a end of 23 and 2024 so far as that guy.
I agree.
Ripped through so much in 2024, and now he's going to get a completely different Levi Rakowski. He knows.
Yes.
He knows that. He's training for it. I'm not going to say he's prepared for it because you can't prepare for the unknown, but he knows he's not getting the same Levi that he got last year. He's well aware of that.
Yeah.
So
Levi has started getting that fire in his eye. Sorry, our phones are but Levi has started getting that fire in his eye. Yeah, I mean, if you've ever been in a fight, you know what I'm talking about. He's starting to get that look, and it's starting to get pretty damn scary with him on the table.
That focus, you can tell when somebody's focused and determined. Most of the time, you don't hear from them as much. You know what I mean? When they've gotten refocused, you don't hear from them as much because they've got their mind on it, and they're dead set on it. I think Levi's going to be. Yeah, I think he's going to be very, very, very difficult to handle, not just for Jacob, but anybody he lines up across.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Jacob's got, a better than even chance. Either one of them do. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's why we named it the Clash of the Titans. That match, we named it the Clash of the Titans rematch because I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. That Levi's hit is going to be violent. So does Jacob. Jacob knows that. And it's just a matter of what lane he hits in as to how many chances that Jacob actually has to dig out of it. And if he does fall into Levi, or if he does fall into Jacob's power, then Jacob's got a very good chance to just pull right back out of it. So
I think Levi's initial hits will say a lot because he lost to Jacob 3-1 at the first go round, but one of those matches, the rounds that he lost, his hit was so good. I don't know how Jacob caught it. It was one of the fastest.
Me either.
And Jacob caught it about an inch off the pad. And was able to dig it back out, and it was impressive to me that he was able to fight through a hit from Levi Radkowski like that. It was nasty.
Yeah, and I mean, it just proves how strong his bicep really is, because to take a hit like that from Levi and catch it directly on your bicep, palm up, and all you did was basically get a cup, man, I tell you what, that's a strong bicep right there, buddy.
And Green and Broom, man, these two are putting on a highlight reel. You can about put together a highlight reel between Jacob Green and Michael Broom right now.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch both of them because I like the hell out of both of them, and they're fun to watch. But I think Levi, I'm a big fan of Levi. I spoke to Levi's dad, told him hell of a job he's done raising a fine young man like that off the table too.
Absolutely.
What a good guy,
And Levi,
my head on straight at 17 like that.
Levi was hanging out with me the last night because they had gotten there like a day late at East vs. West, and he was hanging out with me all night. I was pulling Devin's new camera guy, Sonny. I was pulling Sonny all night. We were just doing like 30% power, just in the straps, fucking around with angles and shit. It was one of the most cool experiences I've ever had because it was like just 30% power, just matching angles and just technical bullshit, just going back and forth. And it was just incredible feeling out the different pressures. And Levi was sitting there the whole time until 6:30 in the morning, soaking it all in. We watched the sun come up that day. It was incredible.
So this is a 17-year-old in Orlando staying up to 6 a.m. watching arm wrestling. Come on,
absolutely,
man.
Absolutely.
What I would have been doing at 17 in Orlando is not watching arm wrestling.
Yeah, and his dad had gone upstairs and went to bed. So I mean, yeah.
What a good kid, man.
God. Yeah. We were hanging out.
But he's a man amongst me. I know that.
Yeah, he's incredible. He really is. And I mean, he did some really good after pulling. We met a really cool cat from Pennsylvania. I think he said he was the number 2 super heavyweight in PA. He was like 285 and jacked. And now I'm not sure if he was amateur pro. I have no idea who the guy was, and I apologize. I just don't. I don't know who he is. I can't know everybody. But he felt pretty good, but it was the same old story with me, man. When he hit, his arm felt really, really good, but I cracked that wrist and then brought him back. Now Levi and him got into some fucking wars because they were in each other's power.
It's funny. When I was watching Pulling John earlier, I was watching his match against Alexi for the Zolti Cup. And Alexi hit him, and then John, you watched that hand spin out. He ultimately lost the match, but that particular round, you could tell how smart of a puller he is when he realized I'm outpowered right here.
Yeah.
And then you're cracking that wrist is key. If nothing else, you're going to probably slip and get to a second round to take to.
I think if John embraced an open top or a Kings back then, he would have beat even more people than what he did. You know what I mean? Like if he embraced it, because he uses it now. If he embraced it back then, he would have beat even more people, and I think Alexi would have been one of them. Now, I mean, there was a whole bunch of politics with that tournament, but I'm not going to get into that now. But John was set up. But I agree. John was set up. But in any case, he did very, very well. Meeting John was absolutely incredible. Shaking his hand was absolutely incredible.
He's another one that he could be such a jerk if he wanted to be, and he's just not.
You could tell he's not like and I mean this with all the respect you could possibly have. You could tell he's not the guy that really wants to hang out and talk and and I get it. You've been doing it for fucking 40 years. I get it. Um, but I mean, he's still very gracious with his time. He's just not going to be the guy that just has a sit down conversation with you unless he knows you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But he,
one of them, I guess, once he gets close with him, they like to make him. You can tell Travis, a lot of them like to make him feel uncomfortable. You can tell they do it on purpose too, just to
yeah,
get
yeah.
feeling weird.
But I tell you what, man, one of the greatest things, I don't know if you watched the press conference or not, but one of the greatest things was kind of the tribute that everybody gave to him. And it was moving. It was very, very moving. Like all of the different athletes were giving a tribute to him before they started talking about their matches. And John was like, enough already. It feels like a fucking retirement party, you know?
His prime has been 35 years long. He's still in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And I mean, it was absolutely incredible. And then when he did what he did, like you had Travis run down from the commentator booth, run down and like kiss him on the forehead. Like, oh my God, bro. You know what I mean? It was insane. What he did was just nothing short of incredible. It really was.
I mean, Leonidas is a freak of nature, human specimen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I think Devins will make easy work of him personally, but it's going to be another good, fun match to watch.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be easy because it's also Devin's left hand and Leo's left hand is his better hand. So I don't think it'll be easy, but Devin's going to be in his open top / kings and he'll bleed him and that'll be the end of it. It's kind of a written rule of what's going to happen there. But no, I mean, the John and Leo case, I keep looking at as kind of me and Bryce, right? Because, and I'm not saying that I'm John Brzenk in any way, shape, or form, but what I'm saying is,
Y'all heard Ted just compare himself to John Brzenk.
But no, Leo had John outclassed in every strength metric on the table, in every single one. And, I mean, he had better pronation, he had better cupping, he had better arm, he had better everything. And John still found the way to win because of his experience and his technique. Now, will I be able to pull that off? I don't know, but I definitely have the experience edge, and he definitely has the strength edge. So for me, it was kind of cool to see.
He didn't panic whatsoever. Stayed cool and calm in a losing position. You saw him keep driving that hook back, just grind him out.
Yeah, it was insane. It was absolutely insane. And then this whole weird whatever the fuck this was, I don't know what that was, but yeah, it was just insane that he could hold him and and just that monster was just slamming into him and he was just like, I got you.
Leo looks like he was built in a lab.
Yeah. Well, hey, he is German. Let's not go there.
Yeah, he looks like he's built in a freaking lab.
He might have been.
Taking his shirt off when he doesn't have to. I'm like, let's get him and Mike Iannello up here beside each other and get a pose off, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Lucky, I appreciate you hopping on. Like I said, I do want to play Camel City Classic 3 one more time. It's a hell of a event, y'all. I made it to the first one. Unfortunately, I was out of town with my family on the second one. I plan to be there this one. Please make it to Winston-Salem. January the 11th will be a hell of an event. Fall Brawl this October 26th. Both of us are on this card. I'll be reffing the entire day. 2 banging matches for Ted. Ton of talent. Ton of North Carolina rankings matches. I think we counted 8 of the 20 matches are North Carolina rankings. So that is a big deal. Got guys coming from Tennessee and guys coming from West Virginia down to pull this event. So please come down to Denton, North Carolina at Woodsman of the World.
Yep, Woodsman of the World. And it's gonna be incredible. And one last thing, I just want to say thank you, Lucky, because Lucky's in the chat. I just want to say thank you. She said that the new shirt design for Camel City is fire, and I appreciate it. My wife works really, really hard on these things, and she takes a lot of pride in.
And check out what's the website again? I want to plug that on her website too.
So it's uapcustoms.com.
Yes, y'all check it out. Look at the merchandise. Big sponsor for the Camel City Classic. Getting very involved in the arm wrestling world, especially here in the Southeast Carolinas and the East Coast as well. So check out all the good stuff they're doing there. But Ted, it was a pleasure as always, man. I can't wait to see you here in a few weeks, buddy. Stay safe, stay healthy, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I'm trying. Take it
See-
easy, brother. Be good.